Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Pushing through on Bear, the 9C1, we're gonna go ahead and do some steering and suspension parts. No, I'm not gonna clean up all this stuff and put it on time-lapse mode so you can sit back and enjoy that boring spectacle. What I am gonna do is remove ball joints and control arm bushings, and we're gonna do that step by step. So if anybody needs some help with this in the future, or maybe you're doing it very soon, maybe this will help you out. So let's get to it. All right, what we have is a lower control arm, and we're going to replace this bushing and this bushing, also that ball joint. Get to that later. This side is bigger than this side, just an FYI. The control arm itself, if you look, is here, right? You see this inner piece, that's the sleeve of the bushing. That's what's got to come through this way. Now, it's not going to do that very easily with a press because we got all this rubber in the way. So what you can do, and it's real easy, is I took a Sawzall and I just kind of cut the rubber all the way around. And then you can get the right size cup to push this bushing that way. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do is get a piece of angle iron and slide it in here so this doesn't collapse when you are pressing. But let's go ahead and do this real quick, and we'll move to that side. All right, we gave that bushing a haircut. Now we can see the sleeve. Now you're gonna find whatever press device you're gonna use. In my case, I'm actually using a 34mm socket. It's about the exact same size, a little bit smaller than the bushing itself. So that's gonna help push it through and not get jammed in the arm. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up. We'll press this guy out. Okay, got my setup here, guys. We're gonna go ahead and press the bushing this way. I got a piece of angle iron in here so the arm doesn't squish as we're pressing. Hopefully that works. And we just gotta apply a little bit of pressure. All right, so we got that bushing out. Now we got this one. I'm gonna use the same method, only with a smaller press tool. This is the preferred method. Now, if you're at home and you gotta get these things out, what are some ways you can do this? Well, what you can do is you can take your drill and you can drill holes all the way through the rubber, all the way around. Just keep going around. That'll get that rubber out of there, and then the inner sleeve will just fall out. Then you can take a Sawzall and just cut a slice very carefully right through the outer barrel. Then you can collapse it and pull it out. Another way I've seen guys do it, and it's messy and stinky, is you take a torch and you just melt the rubber out of there, get that stuff out of there, and then again, you would take a Sawzall and just cut a nice little right through there and pull the sleeve out. All right, guys, upper control arms. We got two bushings. We have a shaft in the middle. Looks complicated. It's not. First thing you want to do, get yourself a wire wheel. Clean up the threads on either end. Because as you take these nuts off, you don't want them picking up any trash or cinders or undercoat. You want them to come off clean, because if you strip that out, well, now we're spending more money we don't have to. So I went ahead and cleaned them up. We're gonna spin these nuts off, get these big washers off, and I'll show you how to get these bushings out. All right, I had taken a wire brush, kind of cleaned up this barrel of the bushing where it goes into the control arm back here. Just clean that up a little bit. Same with this side, but we're really focused on this side right now. If you see, there's a lip here we can grab onto. On the other side, there's not. We'll get him later. What I'm gonna do is use an air chisel, and I'm gonna carefully and patiently tap here and here. We're gonna work this guy this way. Okay, now we can just slide the shaft right out the end. We'll get our press, and we'll just push this guy out. And then we'll take this ball joint off, and we're done. Ball joints, if you have original ball joints, they're usually riveted in. You take a grinder, you grind them off, but in like this case, and most of you guys, if you're doing this, they've probably been replaced, and it's just looks like a 3/8 nut and bolt. 4 of those, take it apart, voila. Real quick before I get started here installing the new bushings and ball joint, I'm going to use this press to snap on. I know you guys don't have these at home. Unless you're a mechanic, why would you spend literally the $800 on one of these stupid snap-on presses? I mean, they work great, but are they worth that much? No. You can get this from Harbor Freight. You could rent one. Heck, you could just take your control arms to your local shop. If they got an old school mechanic that knows how to do this correctly, that's your way out. I'm going to be using air. I'm going to use my impact gun to install these. You could use a ratchet. Just make sure you stay hydrated because you're going to be there for a while, but it'll go in. And that's about it. The angle iron I'm going to use as a little spacer so we don't crush the arm. Now, where do you get this stuff? Anywhere. Garbage. Old bed frame. That's what this is. It's an old bed frame. Just hack off what I need. Works great. Let's get going. Okay, the 2 bushings are different sizes. It's kind of hard to screw this up, obviously, you know. That ain't gonna work. There you go. So we just really have to press, you know, what, 1/2 inch? So I will take my piece of angle iron and I'm just gonna tap him into place, and we'll get the press. All right, looks pretty good. Let's give it a little bit of pressure. Pull that off of there. Okay, we'll get this all set up. Perfect. Just a quick glance at the new bushings. Looks great. Seated on this side, nice and flush. Everything looks even on both sides here. Looks great. Now let's put in this ball joint. I didn't mention it earlier, but do yourself a favor. Take a wire wheel, clean this area up. Same with the control arms. When those holes were open, run them through with a wire wheel, clean it all up. You don't want any burrs or anything that's going to catch your bushing or ball joint. All right, let's go ahead and seat this guy. Find a cup that's going to work for the back. That'll do. This'll do. Exciting stuff, guys. Real exciting. Be a lot of fun when we start putting this back together. I mean, for good. Okay, we're all set up. Looks pretty straight. So I'm just going to put this stuff on so I don't lose it. Now we are basically ready to paint these guys. It'll be the next episode, guys. We're going to use Pour 15. Really cool product. I like it. I used it on Frank, my 75. Okay, that's done. Just got a few more to go. Upper control arms in the vise, we've got 2 bushings. They are different. If you remember, I used a air chisel on that lip to push it out this way. That's this guy. He's going to go here. So upper control arm, driver's side, the lipped bushing goes towards the front of the car. The one that will go flush up against the back of the arm goes here. That's the one we're going to be installing first. So let's set up the press and push him in. All right, it's 1978. What are you driving? Put it down in the comments. I'll show you what I was driving. Okay, got a light coating of anti-seize on there. I'm just gonna go ahead and set this guy in here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to seat the other bushing. So it's gonna go in on this side. We can kind of start that. And this is where our other piece of angle iron comes into play. Got this guy. So I'm just gonna tap him into place here, carefully. Go, that'll work. All right, got that piece of angle iron in there because we're going to take this over to the big hydraulic press and just push this guy right into the arm. So as you can see, we have this part here and this part here, rubber, right? And then it steps down to the metal part of the bushing. That's the part you want to press on, not the rubber. So you got to find something that's going to go over the rubber and hit that land or that flat piece of the bushing. So I just have some big sockets and I make sure, look at that, fits right on top of that guy. And then on this side, same thing. I can just kind of squeeze that on there, right? Whatever works, whatever you got to do to get the job done. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this guy right here. So what's happening is this is not moving. So this guy is able to be pushed right down into the arm. It's working great. Done, that's it. Loosen this up. Take our sockets off the end. Angle iron out of here. This part should still spin. Works good. All right, now we'll just we'll put the ball joint in there, and that should be about it for today. All right, we're back at the vise. Got this guy clamped in here. What I'm going to do now is take these big washers, put them on here like so. Again, doesn't hurt to take a little bit of anti-seize Put it on these threads. Might be a little bit too much. It's okay. We'll screw these guys on. Just gonna kind of lift this up a little bit and torque these down. All right, I torqued these nuts on either side of the control arm just to stiffen it up a little bit in the vise here. When the car's all put back together, engine, transmission, all the weight on the front end, we're getting dive bombed. When all the weight is on the front end, then you torque these down, tighten them up real good. But for now, they are what they are. Ball joint, nothing magical here, guys. Just put it in like so. Nuts and bolts, tighten them up. You're done. Don't forget a Zerk fitting on top here that they give you. All right, guys, not too bad. If you got the tools and the drive, you can do this. It's not a hard job. Just take your time. And again, there's no shame in just buying a whole new control arm. You can get these things pretty cheap on Amazon, eBay. Now, I'm not going to promise you you're going to get, American steel like this stuff. That's kind of why we went this route. We want to keep Bear as original as we could and keep that American steel. But as you can see, most of this stuff is in bare metal. We got a few touch-ups here and there to do, but we're going to be applying Pour 15 to all this stuff. Now, I've got about 80%, 85% of the rest of the stuff done, the knuckles and, sway bar and stuff like that, in bare steel. The Pour 15 is a whole process. We're going to be going over that in the next video. And then shortly after that, we're going to be putting the whole thing back together, the steering suspension on the frame. It's going to look gorgeous. Can't wait. But until then, thanks for sticking around. I know it's not super exciting, but I appreciate it. Do me a favor, like, subscribe. You guys have a good one. See you later.